Hello and welcome to Wednesday Live with Evie, where every week I share on a productivity topic. And I would love it if you say hi in the comments. Let me know that you're here. I'm just going to refresh my page here so I can tell when people are commenting. So today is number 68, and the topic today is the importance of fun and curiosity to productivity. So let me know in the comments what fun things you're doing this week. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Evie Burke, and I help women entrepreneurs take their productivity to a new level. So at the end of the day, they don't have to worry about, oh, what didn't get done today, or what do I have to do tomorrow? There's so much going on. But instead, they can just be completely and fully present with the people they decide to spend their off hours with. So like I said, today's topic is the importance of fun and curiosity to productivity. And the topic came about because of a comment somebody made last week at a networking event I attended. And I don't even remember exactly what the comment was, but it made me remember an idea that I originally heard in a podcast where Elizabeth Gilbert was being interviewed. She was a guest. And the idea was that you should follow your curiosity. Notice where your curiosity leads to. And one of the other things that I've been thinking about lately is the importance of stories in your life, but also in your business. Why do you do the things you do? Why do you love that program? Why do you offer it? All those sorts of things. And if you look at my life through the lens of following your curiosity, here are just some of the highlights. So in college, my absolute favorite classes were philosophy and intro to religion. While my classmates, that were in those classes were spending an hour, maybe two tops, on doing the papers that were required for those classes, I would spend hours. Like literally, I remember sitting in my dorm room for writing papers for Intro to Religion, and I think it was probably like a Saturday afternoon or a Friday afternoon or something, and I'd just sit and I'd spend like 3 or 4 hours really going over the material and thinking about the content and the ideas that were presented, and then writing a paper about it. So, I really went through a process, right? I really thought about the topic, I really digested it, and then I would slowly and purposefully write that 3-page paper. I still remember, almost 20 years later, that I was purposefully writing these, and that they were 3-page papers, double spaced. And it took so long, but I really loved it. I just loved that class. And the number of religion or philosophy classes I took, 2. My entire college career, I took 2. I took 1 philosophy class, an intro to philosophy class, and I took the 1 intro to religion class. Why, if I loved those classes so much, did I have a grand total of only 2 of those classes that I took? Well, because my chosen major was computer science. I was going to be a computer programmer. That was the path that I had laid out for myself. That was the path that was going to make me money and give me a career later. I didn't know what kind of career or what I would find if I majored in or took more classes in philosophy or religion, so I didn't take any other classes. And my schedule, I felt, didn't allow for it. But looking back, it's interesting because I was going to minor in math, but as it turned out, I only needed like 2 more classes to end up with a math major. And so I took those extra classes, which is super interesting because I could have easily taken another philosophy class or another religion class. So basically, because I had chosen a path, I was going to stick with it because I thought that's what you had to do. I thought that's what you needed to do to be responsible. So I didn't follow my curiosity. And fast forward, 10-ish years later, I'm in a job that has some really fabulous people. Seriously, the places that I worked when I was a computer programmer and a project manager, the places were like family. There were under 20 people. They were both super small companies. And they were like family, and I loved the people that I worked with, but I was bored. I felt like there was something missing. And I had the gift of being laid off for 6 months where I had some time to explore things that really interested me. And it made the return to that 9 to 6 or 7-ish job really almost painful. I remember being there about a month and going, oh, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, it's just painful after having time to explore and do things that I'm interested in. So, following my curiosity led me to a coaching program, and I loved it just as much as that philosophy or that intro to religion class. And I remember right before I started the program, my coach at the time asked me how I felt about doing that training, about starting that coaching program. And it's almost 8 years later, and I still remember my answer to her. And I told her that I didn't know if I would be doing coaching for the rest of my life or even, in 5 years or whatever. But I did know that it was my next step. And it was something I was so clear about. So now, fast forward to earlier this year. I've had my business for about 7 years. I'm excited about some things that are going on, but something's missing. And so I found myself saying yes to some things that had been on my later list for quite a while. And I really, really enjoyed them. And I'm still experiencing them, and I'm still really enjoying them. And it's doing things like learning how to do oracle card readings. I took a Reiki 1 class, and next month I'm going to be taking a Reiki 2 class. And just some other opportunities here and there that I've said yes to just because I'm curious about them. They seem interesting, so I jump in. And while they don't directly tie to my business, I've had so much fun. I have so enjoyed my time there. And the interesting thing is, because I'm having more fun, because I'm following that curiosity, new approaches and new energy for my business have appeared. And it's been a lot of fun. And it's led to feeling less stress in my business because I'm not looking for my business to be the place that gives me all of my life or my satisfaction, right? There's other things that I'm getting satisfaction from. So it relieves some um, other places that I'm getting satisfaction and enjoyment from. So it will relieve some of that pressure on my business. So I want to go back just a second. Hey, Tina. I want to go back just a second and talk about the later list. So if you don't know what a later list is, let me share. I have a notebook that I take everywhere. And this is the current one. Not that it matters, but this is the current one. If you see me at a networking event, this is the notebook that you will see me with taking notes in. And in my notebook, I have my later list. And this is different than the later list that's in my to-do list. Okay, so this later list is the people or the programs or the things that I'm interested in, but they don't directly tie to my business. They don't directly tie to my goals, but I'm curious about them. So I would put them on my later list, when I have more disposable income, when I have more free time, when I have fill in the blank. Then I will do some of these things on my later list, whether it's sessions with somebody who I think is super interesting or has an interesting technique that I would like to experience, classes of things that I'd like to learn, but they're not related to my business. I wouldn't be able to use them, or I wouldn't choose to use them in my business for any particular reason, or, just, fill in the blank, right? They're things that people I'm curious about, programs I'm interested in that aren't for right now. And the list isn't too long. When I move from one notebook to another, generally every 4 to 6 months, the list gets rewritten, and then I kind of pare it down, remove things that I'm no longer interested in from the list. And when I was looking at the list, when I moved into this notebook a couple of weeks ago, I realized that there were some things on that list that had been there for a couple of years that I was only just now doing. And I wasn't doing them because they were on the list and I was like, oh, now it's time to do it. I was doing them because I had an opportunity and I said yes to it because that's what my gut said. My gut said, say yes to it. And so I did. And I figured out the details. I made it work on the other side of saying yes to that. So I share all of this because I'm wondering if you have a later list. What is one thing on your later list that maybe you could start doing right now? And it doesn't have to line up with your goals. It doesn't have to be something that you're going to start using in your business. It's just something that you're interested in and you want to experience it. Something you're curious about, something that feels like it would be fun to do, and make it happen. And spending time doing those things will pay you dividends in other parts of your life, including your business. Because productivity, so often we think about productivity is just about figuring out what that next to do is and getting it done. But productivity is also about taking care of yourself so you have that energy, that stamina, yeah, you know what I mean, that motivation to continue to do the things that move your business forward in the direction that you want. And so that includes things that take care of you. That includes things that fill you up, exploring those things that you're curious about, checking out those things that you want to do and not just need to do or have to do. So in my challenge to you, should you choose to accept, is to look at those things that you've been curious about, but you've been telling yourself now's not the time, and for whatever the reason or the excuse. And notice when you have opportunities that pop up that you want to say yes to, and maybe say yes to it and figure out the details later. So that's it for our topic. I do want to share just a little bit about the Unnamed Productivity Club. And since we were talking about stories, I want to share a little story about the Unnamed Productivity Club. So last year, I spent a lot of time really trying to figure out what I needed in my business. And I did what I do best, one of the things I do best, and I came up with a list. And on that list was I wanted weekly accountability. I wanted someone or a group that I could go to and that I trusted with questions about my business, or I could bounce ideas off of when I got stuck. And I wanted to have an appointment on my calendar that I would keep that would give me a reason to plan out the upcoming months instead of just flying by the seat of my pants. And I share these things because even though I help people with productivity, even though I teach about productivity, it doesn't mean that I don't need support in these areas too, right? I still need accountability. I still need appointments to show up to help my business move in the direction that I want it to go. And after I searched a lot and I pieced a bunch of different pieces together to come up with something that worked for me. And it took a bit of time and it took a nice chunk of change, but I found a combination of things that worked for me. But I was left wondering why I couldn't find these things in one place. So that's why I created the Unnamed Productivity Club, because getting that support in your business shouldn't be that difficult, especially when you don't need or you aren't at a spot where you want a one-on-one regular session with a consultant or a coach, but you still want accountability, you still want support and a place to go when you have questions. And so that's what the Unnamed Productivity Club is. And it's unnamed because I'm not super great with coming up with names right away. And I sat on this idea for probably about 3 months as I kind of mulled names over, here and there, and I couldn't come up with a name. So finally, at the beginning of this year, I decided it didn't matter what the program was named. What mattered was that it was out there and available to the people who wanted to participate. So I called it unnamed, and I figured the name will come later. I'm now realizing maybe the name won't come later, and maybe it's just unnamed, and that's okay too. So anyway, right now the price is $17 a month. The price will be going up on June 1st to $47 a month, but everybody who comes in now at the $17 level will stay there. They'll be grandfathered in and they'll continue to pay $17 a month. And yesterday at this time there were 8 spaces left. Today there are 6 spaces left. So today's being May 23rd, Wednesday, May 23rd at 1:15. So if this is something you're interested in, come and join us. There are, like I said, 6 spaces left, and that's just to make sure that the people coming in get the attention, and I can kind of manage the energy of the group and see how big I want to make it. So if you are looking for June to be different than May or how things have gone this year, then join the Unnamed Productivity Club. So that is it for this week's live with Evie. I will see you next week with a new topic. Much love. Special hello to those of you over on YouTube who are watching this. I just wanted to say hello. And in the description below, you will find a link to the Facebook video if you want to see what was happening over there. And you'll also find the link to the Unnamed Productivity Club. So until next week, much love.